So the ISE members are a bit different. Now, why is that? So ISE members are typically large companies. You've typically got experience of recruiting and training young entry-level hires through graduate programs and doing that in a structured way. So they seem to be kind of ahead of the game. So, well, you seem to be ahead of the game as far as I can see from the kind of things you're telling me in the surveys that I'm hassling you to fill in. So what are some of the stats that we get? Well, apprentices made up about 34. This is mainly from the Pulse survey that we just did. So this is pretty up-to-date data from this season. So we asked people, who are you recruiting? What's your plans for recruitment? Apprentices make up about a third of that. So of all the people who members told us they were recruiting sort of just after Christmas, about a third of the numbers that they're recruiting are apprentices. The growth in apprenticeship has been outstripping the growth in graduates since we started measuring it amongst our members only. And you're predicting this is going to continue. So you're anticipating that this is what you want to do. Now, there are some challenges, as somebody was talking about earlier. We know that the number of young people is going down, so probably the universities are desperately going to be trying to recruit them faster. So if you're going to get them into apprenticeships, you are going to some extent, be in some kind of battle with the universities about these numbers. But there are some really positive things from an employer point of view about apprentices. So that most sort of spectacularly, they're an awful lot cheaper than graduates. So if you can get them doing at least some of the things that you can get graduates to do, then it makes an awful lot of business sense, especially if, as we've been hearing again today, you've got these routes by which you can progress them up over a number of years and end up with people who are graduates as well, but you've been making money out of them throughout. And we definitely know, and from some of the data that people are giving us, we definitely know that some employers think this is exactly what they're doing, and they are training up apprentices to do things that they were previously done by graduates. And I interviewed somebody a couple of days ago, just before the weekend, talking about their recruitment process, and they were saying, well, our apprentices are not doing exactly the same thing as our graduates. We're probably giving them a little bit less accountability. But as part of a blend of recruitment, there's certainly room to expand that further and to pick up some of the things. Now, they were saying we're not planning to slow down our graduate recruitment because we're always struggling to find enough people, but we can make up that shortfall by apprentices. But obviously in other places where you're already getting enough graduates, if the question then becomes, well, do we need this many graduates? So this is one of the things that we're starting to get interested in. And we saw in one of the sectors this time when we did the Pulse survey, for the first time we saw graduate numbers going down. I mean, only very, very slightly in one sector, which was the engineering, energy, manufacturing sector. So graduate numbers going down very slightly, I mean, basically flat. But apprenticeship numbers went up like 40%. And so this is the question. If people hold their graduate numbers steady or they start to decline, does this start to suggest that we might be moving into a slightly different kind of student labour market? Now, I think we'd have to say at the moment, probably not yet. And probably I would certainly not bet on that happening, but I think we could certainly see there are some signs that might suggest that might be what's happening. And so that's something for you to think about.